Hey guys, Eno here. I am a drone pilot turned consultant, and as you see from the title, I want to talk today about how I was able to take my drone business international and some tips and strategies that you can use as well if you're trying to go international or if you're looking to grow in your area as well. So first, I'm going to just tell my story and talk about the steps I took to take my business global, then lay out some strategies that you can use as well to help grow your own business. So I started my drone business in 2015, and before I even got into the industry, I just really naturally had a love for traveling. This just kind of fascinated me to visit different cultures and to see how other people live and just experience that. One thing I always say is you're never going to waste money traveling. And I really do feel like you're able to just gain a whole nother experience. I've always had a love for travel, for being out there, even before I got into the drone space. What actually inspired me to get into drones was me seeing a drone being used in Nigeria. And this was back in 2015. And I saw a drone being used to, film an outdoor event, and it was a remote part of Nigeria. So I thought to myself, wow, if they're using this really advanced technology in this remote area of this country, this is definitely going to be something that's adopted everywhere. So I came back to the States, did a lot of research, and once I found all the different industries that were going to be using drones and using them on a daily basis, I was really hooked. And I said, as an entrepreneur, I can find some niche, right? Some industry to settle down in, but there's so many to choose from. It makes it like a no-brainer for me. So that was really like my spark, seeing it used, outside of the US altogether. So then we had to come up with a name. And there were a bunch of names that, we were tossing around in the beginning. I had an idea of, global, right? I just kind of felt that this could be like a global presence, a global company. It wasn't something that was like limited to where we were from, in Baltimore. So we ended up choosing Global Air Media. And of course, with a name like Global, like kind of had to live up to that name, right? You can't just call yourself global and not be global. So from the very beginning, I really had those aspirations, right? I wanted to speak it, really kind of speak it into existence. So of course, we didn't start global. We had very humble beginnings. First break came in 2017. This was roughly 2 years, after we started the company. And up until that point, I mean, we were really just kind of grinding through. We were doing some real estate video here. I remember starting to hear more and more how drones are being used for like hurricane relief and hurricane efforts. My dad, who actually used to be, a contractor, in a totally, different niche, but he would always talk about how, these hurricanes are, a great opportunity, especially for contractors who are hired to do, some of the cleanup and things like that after some of these natural disasters. So when 2017 hit, there were two major storms. First, it was Harvey that hit Texas, and then I believe a month or a couple weeks later, it was Irma that hit Florida. And around that time, I mean, there were a lot of calls going out, posts, on Facebook, hey, we're looking for drone pilots. There was a lot of interest in, how drones could help in these efforts. And there were emails going out and all sorts of ways that, drone pilots specifically could help these efforts. So there was a lot of attention, on Texas and Florida. And so soon after that is when Hurricane Maria happened and literally, knocked out 100% of the power grid, in Puerto Rico. So when that happened in Puerto Rico, I kind of thought to myself, I mean, there's so much attention on Texas, on Florida. I don't know who's going to be like ready to up and jump and go to Puerto Rico, right? It would seem like, the immediate needs and just pure proximity. So part of me said, you know what, you can find your way there. There has to be some, first responders or some emergency personnel that you can connect with and you can help out, some way or somehow with your drone. Or be hired, to do some work as well. And really at that time, we were just, like I said, grinding. So any opportunity that came, I was just kind of jumping on. I looked at the ticket. It was a pretty cheap, one way. I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Not everyone was bought into that decision. I really felt strongly about this being, potential opportunities. I looked up some, Airbnbs. I was actually looking to book one. The guy messaged me and said, hey man, just so you know, like there's no power here. You just got to be prepared for what you're walking into. So it really wasn't the brightest outlook, right? There was really nothing fancy going on, but something told me this was going to be a huge opportunity that I needed to take advantage of. So I went to Puerto Rico. I showed up and, my host, he was, gracious enough to take me to a local center where it was like a sort of like a shopping mall where people were, charging their phones and literally just sitting there, all day. just to get a charge and go back to their homes. Really, it was just kind of incredible to see firsthand, some of the damage that was happening. And a couple of days on the news, they were showing some of this devastation, and to see it in person, I was able to start, getting some incredible footage. And at one point, I did meet some, first responders. I explained to them, I had some 2D models. I was using Drone Deploy to like upload some quick models at the time, and took a ton of photos and video. And I said, hey, I have all this footage. I could just transfer it over to you. Feel free to use it or pass it along to, whoever would use it best. So it wasn't like a fully kind of organized contract or deliverables or anything like that. I really just was doing it just to kind of gain some experience. And I knew, in the back of my mind, like something was going to come of this, even if it wasn't just getting paid, right then and there. So I spent about a week down there, got a ton of footage, and check out our channel for the footage I had from there. So I came back to Baltimore, and I knew that I couldn't leave this story like that, right? I had to build some sort of case study. So I actually started to reach out to some local press in like the Baltimore Business Journal, another local publication that I reached out to, and I said, hey, I have this footage, from Puerto Rico. We're a local Baltimore drone company that went down and shot this footage, and we were able to give it to local first responders. So that alone, was a pretty cool story. They decided to run the story, and that really kind of got the ball rolling for some recognition from some folks, in Baltimore. Soon after, I got a call from the Baltimore Business Journal, and they also ran a story on what happened in Puerto Rico as well. So all this was good. Really felt good to kind of have your work in a local paper. And so a couple weeks later, I get an email from someone at the Smithsonian, and they had this event called the Long Conversation. Basically, it was industry experts who kind of got together on stage in twos, and each person would ask questions of each other, like what made you optimistic about your profession, or the outlook, or your outlook on life. And it really was kind of enlightening. But I was invited to participate in that, and it was some really well-known prestigious names. I mean, this is Smithsonian, right? So this was like a huge opportunity to really speak. And at the time, they wanted me to talk about the work that I've done in STEM, but they also noticed the article that was ran in Baltimore. So they asked me to talk, about Drones for Good, about my work in STEM, how we're working with students in Baltimore, and how we're, using that to teach kids about technology. Right after that event, a gentleman walked up from the U.S. Department of State, and he said, hey, I really like your story. I see that, you're a STEM professional. He said, I run a program called the U.S. Speakers Program, where we invite professionals in different industries to come and talk to local U.S. embassies around the globe about what they do, and provide mentorship and support and training for some of the local populations. So for me, of course, someone that liked to travel, that sounded great. I was like, yeah, tell me, literally tell me where to sign up. And I remember I was so quick to kind of follow up and send an email with him, because this was the exact thing that I wanted to do, travel and talk about, drones. And so we connected. I had a chance to tell him a little bit more about our story and what we do. And he said, all right, I'll keep in touch. I'll let you know about any opportunities that come up. A few weeks later, I got an email from his colleague at the State Department. And she says, we have a STEM program that we're looking to fund. Basically, would you be open to going to Turkmenistan and Kyrgyzstan to talk about drone technology, do a workshop, and do a workshop for the local population? I didn't even know how to spell or locate these countries, on a map. But yeah, I emphatically said yes. So that really was my first paid opportunity to go out and speak, about drones. And we're not talking about any large money here. It was like a speaking fee, but that really started the ball rolling. And so I said, wow, if I have a proven track record of working with the U.S. Embassy, in this country, I can literally take this to other embassies and show them, what I do, and try to work with them as well. So of course, Nigeria, a place that I visit often, I said, oh, can I talk to the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria? Can you connect me, to this? So this is a huge network. The State Department is, they all work together. So I was connected to the embassy in Nigeria. After that project, I was, going to be going to the U.K. So they connected me, with those in the U.K. And then along the way, I also got interest to, do a program, in the UAE. And it really just led to a wave of opportunities, 2018, 2019, and so forth. So since then, we've been able to partner with over 9 different state departments All mostly related to STEM programming. We've done everything from drone business competitions to youth workshops, to youth STEAM fairs, and really anything that has to do with like STEAM and drones. We've likely done some sort of grant for that. So since we were able to make that connection from the nonprofit, we could then start to have conversations on how we're able to help folks with our for-profit work as well. So this really has been an interesting journey. Like I said, I'm currently in Ghana, right now. I'm here in partnership with another colleague of mine. She has a nonprofit that does STEM, that does sports camps. So we come together to do like a sports and STEAM camp. This is something that we've done for about 4 years now. So the first year was in Nigeria. The next year was in Zimbabwe. The following year, Tanzania, and then now we're in Ghana. So this is really just an opportunity that I can count on. This is definitely not like, life-changing money or anything, but it is something, that supports the business. And we're also able to do some great work as well. So I'm going to be doing some content to show you more about what we do there. So that's how I got my start, in the international work. And it really is a snowball effect. Once you can prove that you've done something, then you can now, create a use case around that, present it to other folks. We typically create like a video. We do sort of like an impact report as well. And any type of other publications, press release that really can just get the word out there, get the stories out there. So my advice, really prepare yourself, be ready for when these opportunities come along. Look for these opportunities as well. If you are based in the U.S., the State Department, they do have a lot of resources through the U.S. Commercial Service in your local state. If you do want to take your business international, they have a program called the Gold Key Program. So basically like a business matchmaking service that they provide, and they'll take your company profile and connect you to different businesses in whatever country you're looking to work with. So I'll cover a lot more in this. Hopefully you guys like this style of video. I'm going to do more just, off the cuff videos and not have everything, just have to be super scripted, all the time. So hopefully this resonated with you. If there are any other topics that you want to see, let me know. And if you need any help with growing your business or strategy or marketing or branding, this is what I do at Global AU, helping other drone business owners get to the next level. So looking forward to doing way more videos around topics like this, about strategy and how to grow your business. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.